Well, we're leaving France and headed off to explore the Channel Islands. World's easiest departure this morning as we're at a T-head, or a hammerhead, the end of the dock. Notice how Gale is pulling the working end of the line, and the bitter end is coming off the coil quite nicely. And the boat, with almost no air, is naturally pulling itself away from the dock as Gale removes the line. In truth, off camera, I'm pulling the stern line tighter, which is causing the bow to rotate out to make an easy departure. The line got caught on the cleat on the dock, so Gale hopped ashore for a brief moment to free the line, and off we go. Today's sunrise departure was ideal. Flat water inviting us to head out to the English Channel. First thing to do after exiting the marina is get the mainsail up and turn off the motor. As always, one is strategic about where to raise the mainsail. You want to have plenty of room so the boat can go at a good speed and stay head to wind. Here, I've probably cut it a bit close, and the alarm on the autopilot's warning me that it's hit its maximum rudder angle.
Close, I don't care about your rudder angle, just do it.
Good morning, citizens. Behind us is the coast of France, and we have left France. Paperwork done yesterday, sailing occurring today. I just got off the shift of hand steering the vessel, and we are in the low teens wind speed and trying to go fairly deep, but we have a hazard ahead of us. Let's go look at the hazard. The hazard is a wind farm. And what's funny, you can see the orange stripes on the chart plotter. That's the radar picking up the targets over there. And it's into the sun, so you won't be able to see it well, but trust me, there are a bunch of windmills out there. They're farming wind. We have to turn after the windmills to get to Jersey, where the cows come from. And that is going to be too downwind for us to do. So we'll either have to do a couple jibes, maybe we'll put the Spinnaker up. Right now we have just the main and the Genoa. Nice to get a good start. Let's go interview Gale. She always loves being asked questions by the camera. Gale, so could you talk to us? It is mid-July.
Yes, summer sailing.
I'm wearing a wool cap. You're in a extra blanket, and you're on your tuffet. What's your comfort level now?
I'm quite comfortable.
Okay. What's your fashion level now?
My fashion level? Oh, I think this is the new look.
Okay, that's good. Well, let's give you a tour of what the sails look like right now. There's the main. Probably needs to be eased even more. The telltales are streamed behind a bit. And maybe we'll tighten up the topping lift. There we go, topping lift's tightened up, so there we go. We still don't have a lot of main halyard tension on due to, we want to change out the block. We've got this double shackle up there, so we're avoiding doing that. We've got one check stay watch forward because we're on port jibe. We've got the full Genoa out. Let's go see what the Genoa looks like. There she is, pulling away, really nice and hard. Cool sail. Yep. I miss the width of a catamaran for pulling out the sail. That's nice. And we don't have a preventer on. Flat seas, don't really need it. The factory was very against preventers. Very worried about snapping the boom on an accidental jibe. So, there we go. Look at that wake. Even though it's fairly light air, we got nice wake just tootling.
There's this target, and this one, and these few, they all have their course over ground arrows are curved. And what that, I think, means is that it's a Class A AIS, and it's picking up its rate of turn and imputing that turn line as opposed to just giving a straight one. But And what you're noticing right here is lithium-ion service right there. That's my house battery. And right now I'm using 1.9, 2.5, 5.3 amps. Usually I use 13 or more. And what's occurring now is the sweet success of the Watton Sea. So we're going just over 6 knots and we're making about 10 amps. That is fantastic.
Green line here is mega purchase, and its purpose in life is when you deploy the Watton Sea while the boat's moving, you're not strong enough to lower it in the water. So you just use this guy to give yourself some fake strength. Red is the down line, blue is the up line, and so then you plug it in. There's a nice little plug here on the back of the boat, and that's all you have to do. I just glanced that I was at 0 amps for a few seconds. Oh, isn't that great? Making electricity.
This is a screen capture from the Watton Sea app. The top line shows the amount of amps that the Watton Sea device is producing. The boat, with radar, autopilot, fridge, all the gizmos on that you usually have when at sea, consumes around 13 amps. Here you can see that we're making about 20 amps doing 8 knots. So net, the batteries would be charging. Now the boat has slowed to a mere 7 knots, and the amps drops to 15. Still, no power consumed. This is such a game changer. It means you can sail for days without having to turn on the engine.
We've been at sea now for a few hours.
Getting caught up with the wind farm. This wind farm is being constructed. I don't see any of the blades turning, but there are a lot of boats in there working and constructing them. And we are sailing very deep downwind, which is why the jib is sort of being annoying. And we're playing the tide, so we're going to jibe as soon as we get past the wind farm so that we can get east before we get shoved west.
Interesting enough, friend of the dock didn't have it on his charts. British guy. And that French flag you can see behind the mainsail is coming down soon.
Now there is a huge workship out there that builds these wind turbines. Well, we flipped over to starboard jibe, and it, without thinking about current, is the unfavored jibe. But I'm thinking that we are going to get swept down, and it is also a very favored jibe when it comes to the wave angle.
The bow on this boat likes to sit up nice and high, which really makes it a much more comfortable ride.
Spinnaker is up. That's Spinnaker sailing, man.
What do you say now?
Only 14 more nautical miles and we'll make it to Jersey. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride for Gale. Here we can see we're cruising along at over 7 knots with 12 to 13 knots of breeze.
The majestic fort at Jersey. And then we come in, gotta make sure to honor these channel markers correctly, and this is what we worked hard for today.
Jersey's visitor marina has a sill. Remember, sills are not open at low tide. So here we are waiting in the wading pool with some 30 other boats rafted up. And then, when the sill opens, all 30 boats will want to come in at the same time. Good news, we plan to spend the week in Jersey, so we've been afforded a slip, while the other boats will attach themselves to a general dock with lots of pairing and coupling. The camera is zooming in on 2 key features. 1, the red light saying, "Do not enter," and 2, the depth of the sill, which is blank right now because there is no water over the sill. The harbor master has told us to release ourselves from the huge raft. Gale's preparing the lines for attaching to the dock, but we will have to hold out in front of the entrance for many minutes as the harbor master prepares our slip. He also speaks to us a lot, of which I understand about 20%. It's in English, but so many motors running makes it hard to hear. Holding station is a key skill for a yachtsman. I'm still learning a lot about it. On this boat, because we have effectively a full keel when the keel is raised for docking, it tends to be affected quite strongly by current. There is a force, most likely current, that was pushing us towards the sill and to the left. So I spent the 20 minutes or so that we were holding station fighting those forces. I used partially the engine and partially the bow thruster. To add to the excitement, the red yacht near us was trying to do the same thing and made it a little bit more tense as he drifted towards us. I bet in his YouTube video, he says we drifted towards him.
It is in Delta 23.
Great.
Is that the first, before the D or after the D?
I was just about to go. I'll show you all.
You leave me there?
Yeah, I'll show you your way in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You may be sometime yet because there's a bit of traffic on Delta.
Okay, I'll just hover out here then.
We held station for quite some time while I did the dance of reverse gear, starboard thruster, reverse gear, starboard thruster, and watched a parade of boats leaving the marina. But the road war was there as we enjoyed our slip during our 1-week visit to Jersey.
We're trying to do Delta, right? Delta is what we're trying to do. So, wait, that's Bravo. There's Charlie. Delta's the next one.
Oh, that's gonna be a great question of the week. Let me clean that up. I'll do a little bit of details later. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Gail, you good on something on the bow?
The 4G extender that I got is by a company called Digital Yacht, which have been pretty darn good. But they had a couple silly things. One thing is this plate that covers up just a simple modem requires 8 screws to be removed. So if you buy a new SIM, you get 8 screws, and they're fiddly, There's two little wires coming into this box. Those wires come from antenna that are on the mast. They're capturing 4G cell signals. They then bring it into a cellular modem, which has a SIM card, so it's kind of like the bare bones of a cell phone. Then they take that connection to the cell tower and they create a local network, a Wi-Fi network, with this antenna, which is just barely fits in here. And so the boat has a Wi-Fi network, and on that Wi-Fi network you get to the internet via the cellular modem. So in order to remove a whopping 8 screws, I ended up using this many tools.
This is the miracle tape that I've cut away from the old pump, but it helped a bunch. My epoxy job would not have held together the housing, and I just wrapped a bunch of miracle tape, and you can barely see it, but there's a track here to hold an O-ring. And that O-ring, when I got the boat, was just a little too big. I think at the whale factory they installed it kind of in a poor way, or it was letting a drop fall out every day or two. So not enough to really care about, but it also allowed a little air to get in. So the pump would draw water and then go, just once in a while at random times, go tick, 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 which means air is getting in. And so I went and tried to tighten the pump, tightened it more, until I was able to break the little tabs. And so then I had to epoxy the tabs back in and apply the miracle tape and so on and so forth. But now, new has arrived. Watch this live. As I turn on the sink, you can see if there's any water flow. No water flow down by there. Through the miracle of modern shipping, a week later we've gotten this inexpensive plastic housing here. And we're excited because now it's dry and working. If you're a child of a modern generation, you probably have lived with a frostless fridge your whole life. Gotta defrost the cooling plate that does the fridge. So the fridge is now empty. Put a space heater in there to speed this process. And there's usually a tray in here, so I gotta go clean the tray. The melt continues. Looks like the bottom half of the plate's done. Had a little bit of loose insulation that I reinstalled. We've got about a third of the plate left free of ice. We are frost free. Now the key here is to get this fridge as dry as possible. This paddle wheel that measures the speed of the boat gets a little gunk growing on it. So just as a pre-passage thing I like to clean, I take it out, stick in its replacement blank, and I always find these little shrimp. They're always fun to say hi to. And then afterwards I have to sponge up the water here. You can actually see little shrimp swimming around. There he is, he's doing laps. There's another one doing laps. But all those guys will get removed by my sponge soon. And over there is the forward-looking depth sounder. On the chart plotter, a neat feature where it has a little pie shape in front of the boat that's green when the depth is fine, yellow when you should slow down and have a thought, and red when you are going to hit something. And only kind of useful when you're doing slow operations like pre-anchoring or coming into a new port.